Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Great Malabite.
Good morning, Ruben.
Thank God it's Friday.
Good morning, Rufai.
Good to see you. Good morning, sir.
Adesua.
Good morning.
Welcome back from Warri Kingdom.
Iwere Kingdom.
Yes.
Iwere.
No, it's Warri Kingdom, Iwere land.
Iwere land.
Yes.
You heard when the gentleman said it's not a Shekiri kingdom.
Yes. No, it's Warri Kingdom properly.
Okay, I know. You are playing neutral because your mother's side is Shekiri, your father's side is Urobo. I know that game.
Is Okpe part of the Warri Kingdom?
No. That is the correct nomenclature, at least, as we know it. The Olu of Warri. Right.
Okay.
Now, let's go to...
This old battle over the ownership of Warri, right?
No, that's not an issue here. Now, let's go straight to the review. And as usual, we start with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of records. The lead story, APC in Jeopardy over Buni'S continued stay as national chair. Presidential aides want him sacked. Omo Agege insists his stay is legal. Uba's candidacy in Anambra uncertain. Yes, this report is drawing attention that Wednesday Supreme Court judgment on the Ondo State election opens a Pandora's box within the APC and expose the ruling party to a bleak political future. Yes, because going by the pronouncements which some within the party are trying to ignore, if they carry on without making the necessary amends, what happened in Zamfara, where after all the court injunctions aimed at confusing INEC, the Supreme Court ruled, and suddenly APC had no candidate or had no business being in that election. They lost all seats to the next party, the PDP. If they don't put their acts together, well, that may just be the fate that awaits an APC candidate in the runoff and in the 2023 election. But let's hope reason will prevail at one point, because the judgment of the Supreme Court will know that the governor kept his mandate by the whiskers. And even the judgment of the 4 justices did mention that the chairmanship or the interim chairmanship itself is problematic, except that the PDP and Eyitayo Jegede, its candidate, failed to include Buni, the acting chairman, or the interim chairman in the suit. So one should have expected that with that, on both sides, both the 3 justices, the 4, all mentioned that infraction on the constitution of the country and the constitution of the APC, that the party will just go ahead and do the needful. But, well, as they argue and continue to argue, you know what they say in the village about those who want to self-destruct? Those that God wants to destroy, well, I will leave our viewers to complete the rest. Now, other newspapers are also reporting this story. The Guardian newspaper, no going back on APC congresses, Buni vows despite court verdict. APC dazed, staggers from Supreme Court ruling on Ondo Goba. Omo Agege Enang Ojodu Eta Keyamo Abe cross swords. Now, the Punch newspaper, Supreme Court's declaration on Buni, governors hold emergency meeting, APC chiefs differ, congresses to hold. Governors are meeting on Friday, that's today. We will know direction after Pali. Chair, APC Chairman's Forum, APC Chairman's Forum. Saturday's congresses will go ahead at Kanu Dere. It will be irresponsible to do so, says Buni'S. Now, other stories. The Daily Independent newspaper. IGP orders probe of Abba Kyari over hush puppy fraud. Kyari says hands are clean after U.S. court ordered his arrest. PDP demands full investigation of report. Lawyers react. Yes, Ruben, you were spot on with that metaphor of the palm oil and the white garments. But I will just add another. The meat you forbid, you don't share with your teeth. When the policeman start dabbling into matters of fashion design and tailoring, you know what will happen. But this is not looking good for the police institution, for Nigeria, and of course, for Abba Kyari himself, who has been hailed as a top call for doing a good job over time. The papers that have been presented by the FBI in courts, not looking good for the man at all. But the Inspector General of Police has done the needful. They want to do the investigation here. But we hope that this country will do what is needed. Because if you have been mentioned in a fraud with so much documents, then we have to get to the roots of the matter. But again, as lawyers will say, he is innocent until proven guilty. But you know where you have to do that? In the U.S. courts. Well, let's just look at other newspapers quickly. No, I'll go straight to the foreign newspapers so that we have some time to talk. The Daily Telegraph of UK, yes. Hospital COVID case number misleading. MPs raise questions as NHS finds virus patients had other cause of admission. Yes, 1 in 4 patients classed as a COVID hospitalization is actually being treated for other diseases. Official data has revealed. So the hospitalization being classed as COVID need to be checked again, and clearly they cannot all be classified as COVID. But the good news is in the UK, as the Independent newspaper has published in the lead story, the Independent newspaper, COVID vaccine has saved 60,000 lives. Van here hails massive success, but warns crisis isn't over yet. Yes, around 60,000 coronavirus deaths and 22 million infections have been prevented by UK's vaccination program, according to figures from the Public Health England. The agency also estimates that as much as 95.5% of adults, of the adult population now have antibodies from COVID-19 infection or the vaccination. So the herd immunity is very high in England because of what they have done so far, raising hopes the country may be heading towards high herd immunity. Now, the Wall Street Journal, quickly. The U.S. economy grew beyond its 2019 level. Yes, the U.S. economy grew rapidly in the second quarter and exceeded its pre-pandemic size. But the outlook has suddenly turned cloudier with the fast-spreading Delta variant that is ravaging many big cities and big states. The GDP grew by 6.5% annual rate in the second quarter, up slightly from 6.3% growth in the first 3 months of the year. So it's a milestone, and of course shows that perhaps the U.S. economy is doing fine. The speed of recovery quite remarkable. It's a milestone.
I mean, there's a method to that madness. Kudos to Joe Biden. Joe Biden ramped up vaccination. Because vaccination was ramped up, now you have the economy opening up. Then they could lift the mask mandate. Now they've returned that mask mandate. But the major work was done by Joe Biden.
Of course, there was also stimulus.
There was also stimulus. So stimulus and Joe Biden ensuring that vaccination is ramped up. So there's a method to all of this. And it goes back to leadership. Trump was in denial. Another leader came in and he changed things. You know, leadership matters a great deal. Leadership makes a difference. Lampard was confused, but Tuchel came in and changed things for Chelsea.
You will go there. Chelsea, man.
Very quickly, on the lead story on the front page of This Day and other papers, APC in Jeopardy over Buni'S continued stay as national chair. I would have thought that, it would be better for, politicians to take the part of common sense. Because in this particular case, that controversy over the implications of the Supreme Court judgment and the interpretation of Section 183, which some of the members of the party are insisting was not a matter before the court. The truth of the matter is that all the 7 justices agreed on the interpretation of Section 183. They may not have made a categorical statement on that because that was not the main matter before them. But I think that the party should take another look at that, judgment, both the minority judgment and the majority judgment. The other thing to draw attention to is that I think there is already a suit in court from Zamfara State, from some persons in Zamfara State, challenging the eligibility of the governor of Yobe State, Malam Buni, within the purview of that Section 183. But the third point that they really need to worry about, which was why I referred to common sense, is why leave the fate of your party to judges? Because what may well happen is that in subsequent elections, beginning with Anambra and other elections, those who want to explore this further will go to court and draw attention to the fact that, look, this Section 183, at the time your form was signed, this was what happened. And then the Ondo case will become a very useful precedence that people can cite. And that time, nobody will make the mistake of not joining Malam Buni, which was something that their lordships, pointed out. That's one. 2, back to Oshpopi, Ramon Abbas, all these names even, people are given proper names, after they've been born, but they come with all kinds of, okay, here we go. We've been trying to draw out some of the lessons. I think that there are other lessons that should be learned. 1, apart from the palm oil and titi and meat and all of that, that you added to it, and some people not being good for your brand. Another thing is the point about abuse of office. One thing that is indicated here is abuse of office, and many people, many policemen will need to pay careful attention to that, because what the FBI is alleging is that, look, our carrier as Deputy Commissioner of Police took instruction from Hush Puppy or whatever his name is, and then decided to act on the basis of that. And then he discovered that the Vincent guy was innocent of the allegation, and yet, as an officer of the law, he did not act on it. Rather, he wanted to protect the Hush Puppy and do his bidding. I mean, that's something that is really not good for the institution. The fact that you can hire a policeman to do your wish, even against the law. So there is abuse of office, there is violation indicated, even if these are still allegations of, as I pointed out earlier, Principle 6 and Principle 7 of the Nigerian Police Code of Conduct, which talks about soliciting. That section of that Code of Conduct says soliciting gratuity, well, maybe tip. Gratuity also means tip. But the stronger word is soliciting gratification. And then third, the defense that the gentleman offered on Facebook is that they linked Hush Puppy with a tailor. Is he running Abakari Kutu? So these are some of the questions, that will be brought up. But as we keep saying, we can't do trial by media, and he's innocent until proven guilty. But the U.S. will still have to ask for extradition. So it's not that he will just go and surrender himself. But it's also good that the Nigerian police is looking at this matter, because it also has a duty to defend its own reputation and integrity. Anyway, thank you, Efeni.